All right, there are three things that I want the president of the United States to stand hard on right now. If I had his ear and I was like, okay, Mr. President, here's what you do, he'd look at me like, what the hell, Glenn? You think I'm going to listen to you? But let me give him some advice anyway. I want the president to hammer three things. First, today, I would urge him to take an axe to the regulations today in breathtaking ways. That's number one. I want him to show up actually with an axe and say, I am going to cut regulations so we make this country more competitive. No need for this government to get into your way of your dreams. The states want to do that's fine. You know, if you're obviously going to pump poison into the rivers and everything else, then we're going to get involved in that. But no more of this overregulation, and I'm cutting them today in breathtaking ways. And then I want him to shame the Congress. You know, Congress is going out on like a 3-week vacation now. Must be nice, guys. Wow, insider trading and unlimited vacations, it seems. At some point, they're going to come back and they're going to make those tax cuts that we got 8 years ago permanent. That's not what we voted for. We didn't vote for that. We voted for significant tax cuts. We want you to reduce the deficit. We want you to give us significant tax cuts. We want you to get out of our way. And Donald Trump said the last thing we have to do is raise tariffs. Well, he raised tariffs yesterday. Congress, shame on you. Be bold. See the times that we're in. We're in bold times. Do you have any courage to be bold at all? Okay, so we raised the tariffs, and what everybody is saying is great. This is going to bring back American manufacturing. That instinct is right. We have to bring jobs back to America. We have outsourced way too much. We've hollowed out our middle class, and all we are now is on managed decline. That's really what the course is, managed decline. Donald Trump is trying to flip that. We have made ourselves so vulnerable to foreign supply chains that at best, they don't care about us. At worst, some of these foreign supply chain providers, they want to destroy us. So what are we doing? So here's the truth. If all we have to do is chase the old jobs, we're going to end up building the ghost towns of opportunity for tomorrow. You can't do it because the factories with lights on but no people on inside, that's coming. Okay. This time, when the factories come back, they're not bringing back the same jobs. They're going to be done by robotics, sensors, AI systems. And if we don't think bigger and broader and bolder, we are going to miss the opportunity to build the nation that doesn't just survive. It's the nation that leads. We have to stop thinking about America's future like it's a rerun of 1954. It's not. GM's not coming back. The big factories aren't coming back like that. And the goal is never to return to the past. Do you think in 1954 they were like, oh, man, if we could just have those big factories, milling those cotton? No. They weren't thinking like 100 years ago. Why are we? I had horrible pain in my hands. I had a hard time moving them. I could barely work with them. I couldn't write or type or anything. I tried everything. Then I found Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free supplement developed by doctors, and it's safe to take daily. It made a real impact for me and so many others. Try their 3-week quick start now, $19.95 at relieffactor.com. The goal is not to return to the past. The goal is to build what the world needs tomorrow and make sure we're the ones that are controlling it. So when we talk about bringing jobs back, what are the jobs we should be looking for? What do we build? Well, first of all, we build chip foundries, okay? Not one, not two, dozens of them all over the country. Dozens of chip factories, because every single car, every missile, every drone, every phone, every satellite, every AI model depends on those chips. We must control the chips. Right now, the majority of high-end chips come from Taiwan, which is 100 miles off the coast of a very aggressive and unstable China. Do you think if things get tough, we're going to have we're going to have access to those chips, and we can't just have Taiwan come in and say, oh, we're going to build one factory here. No, dozens of those factories. Redundancy. You know, having everything coming from Taiwan, that's not a supply chain. That's a hostage situation ready to happen. We need to bring the entire chip ecosystem home. That means the raw materials, the design, the fabrication, the packaging, the protection. That's sovereignty. That's bringing America into the future, not back to 1954. Another thing, and I wouldn't mind going back to 1954 on this one because we at least got this one right. We need to build nuclear power, period. And not the creaking concrete dinosaurs of the Cold War. We need to build small modular reactors. We have them now. AI-optimized grid systems, next-generation thorium designs that are faster, that are cheaper, that are cleaner, that are safer. Why do we need them? Because of the data centers. These data centers are going to eat up so much of our electricity. If you don't build these things now and you want to stay competitive with AI as a nation, you're going to be having brownouts because the data centers are going to need them. So if we are ahead in AI, but we didn't build enough electricity, you're going to be living in brownouts. That's not a good idea. That's not how we lead. If you want to run the data centers, the factories, the server farms, the electric vehicles, all without choking our air and all without depending on any foreign oil, nuclear is not an option. It's the foundation. And if we would pursue this new technology, it's already here. If our government would help by just deregulating, not the crazy stuff, well, actually deregulating the crazy stuff, not the protections against the crazy stuff. Make sure these things are safe, but build them. Then server farms. I don't want the government building a single server farm, not one. But I do want the government, and this would create a lot of jobs, to build data fortresses. Okay, server farms, domestic cloud infrastructure. Let the private sector fill the buildings with the latest and the greatest. Let them carry all the risk. Let them, there's something brand new. We got to get rid of all that. Good, they carry all of that. But perhaps it is the government's job to build a fortress around those centers to protect it. That's where the real money can come in. And businesses will say, I want, because they're protecting it. It's safe here. The backbone of every single AI model, every defense system, every modern company, it's all going to be on data, period. And we're hosting far too much of it right now on foreign-owned systems or in single points of failure. Not a good idea. We need hardened, distributed, secure computing across the country. Our future should not be held together by luck, some Band-Aids, and third-party logins. What are we doing? So forget about building, the new GM plant of the future. These are the things that we should be focused on. We need to build robotics hardware because while AI is the brain, robotics is the body. And whoever builds the body controls the labor of the future. Okay, because it's not going to be you working on an assembly line. It will be a robot. China is pouring billions of dollars into robot manufacturing. If they control the means of automated production, they control the next industrial revolution. Have you seen their docks compared to our docks? We're not doing anything because of all of our labor unions. China doesn't care about the labor unions, okay? I don't think that's a good thing. I don't like China's model. But if we don't understand that they will put us out of business if we don't adapt to what is happening, we are going to be left in the dust. All of this stuff is not worth anything. All the pain that you will be feeling at the grocery store and everything else, all of the arguing, all of the fighting that we have done to try to save our country is over in the next 5 years if we're not understanding what I'm saying to you right now. We cannot allow China to lead in AI or automation, from agricultural bots to surgical systems. It has to be led by us. We also need to create new jobs in rare earth processing and strategic minerals refining. Right here, we have to do it, even if it costs us more for a while. These are the jobs that must be brought to America. We must create them. Finding, the mining, the refining of our own rare earth minerals, because you can't build a single solar panel. You can't build an electric motor, a wind turbine, a guidance system without these materials, because you can't build the chips. And right now, China controls about 90% of all of the global refining. We dig the ore here and then we send it to them. That's not just bad policy. That's national suicide. What are you doing? We need to mine smarter, refine cleaner, and stockpile strategically. We need to build next generation alloys and materials, because very soon AI is going to start discovering new substances that we never would have thought of. It's going to look at the periodic tables and it's going to say, why are you using steel? You want to build a steel plant? Why? Take this, combine it in this way, and it's going to make something that's twice as light and 3 times as strong. Stronger than carbon fiber, heat resistant, self-healing. All of that stuff is coming. These are going to change the way we build planes, buildings, armor, spacecraft, maybe even the way we heal the body. Profound change is here before 2030. We should not be watching any of this from the sidelines. The United States of America needs to lead it. If we are going to have another great renaissance and have, what Donald Trump says, this new golden age, we have to be leading this stuff. We have to be building biomanufacturing, domestic pharmaceutical productions. The next war may not be fought with bullets. It might just be fought with a virus, antibiotics, hormones, vaccines. 90% of our active pharmaceutical ingredients still come from China and India. That's madness. That's a chokehold. We need redundancy. We need it here. We need it now. We need to build vertical farms, regenerative agriculture, AI-powered food networks. You can't eat patriotism. I want the farms to survive. I want American domestic products here. But we have to see what's over the horizon and start building those jobs. It would be like if I'm saying, you know what, farmers, we're going to bring back the jobs of the farm of the old days, and I send you a horse and a plow to strap. You wouldn't want that. We must think differently. In a crisis, if all of our ports are down, our shelves are empty in days. We need cities to grow their own food, farms that rebuild the soil, systems that ensure that every American can eat. And a quick reminder here, with very few exceptions here, when I say we need to build, I don't mean the government. With very few exceptions, like defense, the private market does all of this. What the government can do is reduce our taxes. Reduce the taxes on builders and entrepreneurs. Reduce the regulations. Help us help you. I don't care what's happening on the other side of the globe. I don't. We need to build freight infrastructure. We need to build corridors that let us move our supplies and our goods across the country without ever having to touch a foreign port. And we don't need better roads. My gosh, how many times do we have to pay? We need more resilient roads. Do you know some of the concrete, some of the things that are being produced now in other countries that we're so far behind on? And yes, maybe we build a steel mill from time to time, but not the ones we remember. We build automated, modular, ultra-clean micro mills that forge the next generation of steel in smaller batches, closer to where it's needed, because the future is not about bulk. It's about agility. It's about speed. It's about precision. That is the new industrial revolution. The question isn't, will America bring jobs back? The question is, will America build what the future depends on? If we get stuck in this trying to resurrect the past, we're going to be outpaced by nations that are inventing right now. They're inventing what's next. Tariffs are just a tool, a lever. but they're not vision. We need to think like builders again, like pioneers, like people who understand that the goal is not just to have a job. The goal is to have the capacity to survive, to compete, and to lead. Let's build what matters. Not nostalgia, not for headlines, but because the future can't wait. And if we're not leading that, if we're not shaping the future, believe me, someone else will. I want us to do it.